So you want to become a real estate agent, you just don't know where to start. Well, in this video, we're going to go over a step-by-step guide how to become a real estate agent in Louisiana. So let's get started and dive right in the video. Many agents want to become a real estate agent because they are tired of their corporate job and the lack of flexibility that career offers. Other agents just want to be able to break the glass ceiling on their income and make a lot of money. Whatever your goal is, becoming a real estate agent might be a good fit for you. So in this video, we're going to go over a complete guide on how to get started, all the way from getting started with your classes, taking your exam, and then finally picking the right brokerage to work at to set yourself up for success. So let's go over some of the basic requirements of getting started. The first thing is you must be 18 years old or older, and you must have a high school diploma or a GED. Next, you need to complete 90 hours of your pre-licensing education required by the state. After that, you want to submit your salesperson application. Then it's time to pass the practice exam. In Louisiana, you need to pass with a 75% score or higher. Next, you have to apply for a background check. The state is going to want to know that you don't have any felonies on your record and that you have a clear record before they give you your license. Next, it's time to acquire your E&O insurance. Basically, this insurance is just in case you mess up and make a mistake. It's called errors and omissions insurance, and this is to prevent you from getting in legal trouble and getting sued. So this is an important thing, but you're gonna have to shop around. Next, you're gonna have to get your sponsoring broker to hire you. Now, this is fairly easy, but it's a challenging task because you gotta pick the right brokerage, and if you pick the wrong brokerage, you could be setting yourself up for failure. Last but not least, once you find your sponsoring broker, you wanna submit Part B of your application before you actually get approved for your license by the state of Louisiana. But let's dive deeper into each one of these steps so you know exactly what to do to get started. So let's talk about the very first step, and that's getting your pre-license education out of the way. In Louisiana, you actually have to complete 90 hours of state-approved real estate courses. Now, the good news is there are online classes that you can do to get that classwork done. And the good news about that is you can do it at your own pace and your own speed. If you want to move fast, you can. If you want to move slow and do it part-time after work, you can do that too. So in the description below, you'll actually see a link to something called Real Estate Express, and they offer a good assortment of online classes to help you get started. Now, the prices vary, but they do have some sales down there. So check out the affiliate link down below and see what classes they have ready for you so you can start rolling. Keep in mind, make sure you take classes that are approved by the Louisiana Real Estate Commission, and these classes have to be approved by them or they're not going to count towards your 90 hours. When you're in these classes, make sure to pay close attention because you're going to need to pass with a 75% score or higher. And plus, you're going to want to make sure you absorb as much as possible so when you get out in the real estate field, you feel comfortable and confident. Now you might be asking, what are you actually going to learn during your real estate coursework? So when I got started, a lot of the concepts in real estate were completely alien to me, and it took a while to really learn them and get comfortable so I can move forward and pass my exam. So depending on your experience as somebody that's gonna be involved in the real estate world, depending on how much experience you have in real estate to begin with, you might find a lot of these concepts easy or they might be quite hard to understand. So it's totally normal for a lot of these concepts to be alien to you, but here are some of the things that you're going to learn during your real estate classes. So the very first thing is the real estate math portion. Next, you're going to learn about land use laws and regulations. You're going to learn about fair housing and the importance of making sure you don't break any fair housing laws. Real estate financing, you're going to learn some things about that. You're going to learn about the contracts that you're going to be using as a real estate agent. You're going to learn about the transfer of title. That's a lot of the stuff that the closing attorneys are going to be doing when you process the sale and when you go to the closing. You're going to learn about brokerage relationships. This is really important to you as an agent to be able to understand the capacity that you're representing your clients and to be able to communicate and explain that to them. Next, you're going to learn about disclosures and the importance of them and why you should always advise your client to disclose. And they're going to go over state-specific requirements in regard to that. You're going to learn about analyzing properties, basically doing CMAs, and how properties in the residential market are priced versus how properties in the commercial market are priced. You're going to learn about license law, ethics, agency laws, and basically rules of the Louisiana Real Estate Commission. Once you complete all that and you really study hard, you're going to want to schedule your exam. And the exams in Louisiana are done with PSI exams. So check that out in the article below that I have linked, and you can check out the link that we put there so you can schedule that exam once you're ready to take it. So keep in mind that this test is not an open book test. So you're not going to be able to look through and reference things. You're going to have to go in there basically without any notes or any materials and take the test based on the information that you obtained and studied. Now, another thing to keep in mind that this test must be scheduled in advance. As of now, they're looking for you to schedule at least 1 day in advance. Once you're on the book, it's time to get your real estate background check. So again, they just want to make sure that you don't have any felonies or any things that would be concerning before they issue you this real estate license. Because keep in mind, you're going to be in people's houses and you're going to be involved in some pretty considerable transactions. So they want to make sure that you don't have a criminal history or anything that would indicate that you're going to do anything bad, illegal, or unethical. As of now, the fingerprint and background check is about $39.25. Now, this could change depending on when you're watching this video. Now, if you do have something on your record that's concerning, there is a application process that you can, send to the board if you have a felony, and they're going to review it and make a decision on whether you can get your license or not. So you might be asking, what is the best way to study for this exam? So when I studied for my exam, I used a tool called Prep Agent, because if you fail the exam, you're actually gonna have to pay money again to retake it. And as of now, it's about $85 to retake your exam. So it's best to just study hard and practice and pass it the first time. So there's a tool called Prep Agent, which I have linked down below. It's an affiliate link, and they have some deals on educational testing and courses. Basically what they do is they'll put you through test-like simulations where you can, run through examples of what's going to be on the exam, and it will tell you if you're answering the questions right or wrong. And when you answer them wrong, it will actually break down why you answered them wrong. And it's really interactive, and it's a lot more powerful and useful for most people than just reading a real estate textbook, because you can study hard through that. But when you go through a test-like simulation that's almost like what you're going to see on the real estate exam when you're sitting at those computers, it's really powerful, and you can really absorb a lot more information that way and have a much higher chance of passing your test. In fact, as of now, if you fail your test after using this program to study, they'll actually give you a full refund. So check that out in the description below. So what do you actually need to bring to the test center when you take your test? Well, the big thing is you don't want to turn up all excited to take your test only to be turned out the door and told that you can't take the exam because you didn't bring the right things. So here's what you're going to want to bring. As of now, you're going to have to bring about 2 forms of identification that have not expired and have a matching name and signature. One form of identification must have a photo to qualify. Here are some examples of things you can bring. You can bring your driver's license. You could bring a US Social Security card, you could bring your passport, you could bring your debit card with a signature, you could bring a credit card with a signature, or a green card. You're also allowed to bring a non-scientific calculator for the math portion of the exam. Now you might be wondering, how long will you actually have to complete this exam? The good news is you have plenty of time. You have about 180 minutes to complete the entire exam. Right now, the general portion, which is the national portion of the exam, is about 105 minutes, and the state portion is about 75 minutes. The number of questions you're gonna find on the salesperson's license exam is about 80 questions on the national and 55 questions on the state, totaling about 135 questions. So you have about 3 hours to complete this test, so you don't have to feel rushed. There's only 135 questions that you have to answer, and you have plenty of time to get those done. So there's no need to worry about that. Just make sure that you're well read on the topics, because some of the questions are confusing, and sometimes there's trick questions that are in there that might confuse you if you don't read them twice. So I highly suggest that you read the questions a couple times before you actually submit your answer. So, pass or fail, how long does it actually take to get your results in? Well, the good news is you don't have to have anxiety for long, because once you walk out of the testing center, you're gonna get your results within 10 or 15 minutes. They're gonna go through it with you, and they're gonna say, hey, you passed and you're gonna go get your license now, or hey, you failed and you have to come back and do it again. Now, if you fail, it's not the end of the world. The Louisiana Real Estate Commission actually gives you the chance to reschedule your test within 90 days. So if you only failed one section, you only retake that one section. If you failed the entire exam, then you have to come back and retake the entire exam. But stay positive. Many of the top producing real estate agents that you see in the market today failed their exam the first time around. So it's not a big deal. If you can avoid failing, obviously let's work towards that. But if you do your best and you go in there and you happen to fail the test, don't give up, because a lot of top agents did fail the first time, did fail the second time, and some even failed the third time around. So don't give up on your dream of real estate just because you bombed one or two exams. Now, in total, how long does it actually take you to become a real estate agent in the state of Louisiana? Well, I would account for about 5 months from start to finish, because you're gonna have to go through your real estate classes, your background checks, your applications, and pass your exam. And then you're gonna have to find a broker. So there's a lot of steps involved. You could do it faster, or it might take a little longer. It really depends on the pace that you take this. And the good news is a lot of this is done online through online coursework. So you can take this as aggressively or as passive as you want, depending on what your current schedule and responsibilities are and how fast you want to get licensed. So you might be wondering, how much is it going to cost you to get started with your real estate license in Louisiana? So I would estimate about $85 to take the actual exam. Now, before you take the actual exam, you're going to be looking at between $235 and $300 for your pre-licensing courses, depending on what deals are available. Again, check that in the description below. There are some great classes from Real Estate Express, and see what deals they have going right now. Another thing to look out for is your sales associate license application fee, which is about $90. So to get started in Louisiana, you're looking at under $1,000 to get licensed. You just have to put the work in and invest the time. So last but not least, let's talk about choosing the right brokerage, because this is such an important piece for agents getting their license in Louisiana. When you're brand new, you just don't know what to do or how to start. And picking the right brokerage is such a crucial piece to have success in this industry. If you didn't know, 87% of real estate agents actually fail within the first couple years of starting this business. So to avoid that statistic, you want to make sure that we stack all the cards in your favor and make sure you have the highest odds of success. So the very first thing to look out for when picking a brokerage is the right training. You want to make sure that they have a training system in place that's going to ensure your success. You want to find out if they have mentors in place that will be able to help you day by day and help walk you through the struggles that you're going to face as a brand new agent. I remember when I first started real estate, there was a lot of different things that I didn't expect. And if I didn't have a mentor to walk me through those step by step, I probably would have really had a hard time succeeding, because there are some things that you just don't know you're going to deal with. And until you have the experience dealing with them, it's going to be really tough. So finding a brokerage that has the right training in place with good mentorship and good guidance will make all the difference. The next thing I want to talk about is commission splits. You want to find out how much is that brokerage actually taking. Now, as a new agent, don't get super hung up on this, because commission splits aren't everything. It's much better to be at a brokerage that has good mentorship and good support as a new agent than a brokerage that has super low commission splits. Because even though you're going to make more money on each individual deal with a low split brokerage, you might not do any deals. And you might actually fail out of the business based on the lack of training that you got before you even have a chance to collect your first commission. Next, Ongoing monthly fees. Some brokerages have ongoing monthly fees, and this is important because as a new agent, you may have set some money aside to go full-time and make this work. And if you only have a certain amount of money saved before you run out of money, you don't want these high monthly fees that your brokerage is charging you to really eat into that. Now, if you do come across a brokerage that has a monthly fee, it's not super high, it's not going to dig into that money a lot, and they have really good mentorship, then I would say that's probably a good idea. But just keep in mind, this is something that you're going to want to ask and find out about. Becoming a real estate agent in Louisiana is something worth working towards. If you have the dream of selling beautiful homes and you want to get started and jump into a whole new career path that seems a little more exciting and interesting, it's definitely a good idea to get started and start working towards that goal. If you have more questions about how to become a real estate agent in Louisiana, drop it in the comment section below and I'll do my best to respond ASAP. Thanks so much for watching and have an awesome day.